Are we on the air?
I see a on air button. I see a red on air button, so I just assume that we're here. But you can look on the back end and see if there's something that
I
you ain't
see I see
catching.
green lights and a little thing that says excellent. So I guess we did it.
Well, I do like the thing called excellent. Green lights are always good too when you're dealing with any of this stuff, but except on your roadcaster board, green light does not mean go. Isn't that right?
That's right. Thank
Or
you
did I
for
just
reminding me to
confuse
hit
you?
it.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what we do over here on Tuesday. Thank you guys for jumping in nice and early. Sorry about our tardiness being 1 or 2 minutes or whatever it is late. Oh, but that's okay. We're trying to get this stuff together for you and let you know that, man, we got a really, really good show for you today. I'm going to do a run out. We need to talk about this DaShawn Jones guy, JT, and really critique him a little bit. And just see what we think about his play. Just a few plays, not too many. You know. And then NIL, man, this world is getting crazy, dog. And I'm really interested to hear what JT has to say about some of this stuff because it's kind of. Mm, we talk about it, seems like almost every week, but it's just getting more dicey every single day, right? So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get this show started. Man, thank you guys once again and ladies for being a part of the Teague family and listening to Teague's Take. If you have not subscribed to our channel, please do us a favor here and go ahead and do that. You guys helped us reach our first goal of getting the subscribers of to 1,000. Now we're just trying to get to that 2,000 mark. So if you don't mind sharing our page and telling people about what we do, we would absolutely love that. Thank you to all our friends over at Bama Standard for what they do. Thank you for those who support us in other ways, whether it's financially or just telling people about the show. It means so much to JT and I. And we thank you for all of the uh, conversations that you have with me, particularly on X, Instagram, and Facebook. It is really, really cool to be able to interact with you guys. So you guys make sure you keep that coming as much as you can, and don't be afraid to use the hashtag Ask Teague if you want me to just check out something and talk about it on the show. We're good with that too. Okay, so let me give you guys just another thought really fast about something else that's not associated with college football, but everyone around the world keeps talking about Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys and their inability to win critical games like the Super Bowl, right? So let me tell you something. Jerry Jones is winning, and let me tell you why. The schedules just came out for the NFL season for this up year. It was revealed tonight, and lo and behold, JT, the Dallas Cowboys have 6 night games. Six. Somehow, a team that can't be a contender every year, the Cowboys have found a way to stay relevant in the NFL sphere, making people watch them week in and week out. 6 games at night. That's a third of the season. Do you know how much money that is for this team? So I'm sorry, folks. That's winning. That's winning all the way to the bank. You can be mad, you can hate all you want, but the Cowboys are worth $9 billion with a B, the most valuable sports team in the world. Mind you, Jerry Jones bought this team for $150 million. That's winning, right? And you're winning for being a part of this Teague's Take episode. JT, pop in, man, for a second. JT is the analytical one. We had a short discussion about what's the difference between logical and analytical. JT is definitely analytical, and he gave me the definition of exactly.
Well,
Um,
I don't know if it was a good one. You kind of just asked me out the blue there, so I gave you what I thought, but I probably should have looked it up.
Well, but no, that's what we do sometimes. I mean, we are fact based, right, on our show a lot of times, but sometimes we have our opinions and we just go with our feel, right? So I think what you said was excellent. It helped me so too. So JT is the mastermind behind all the stuff that you guys see on the screen and making us look good and doing this. He's very, very critical for the success of our show, and I know a ton of you just love him because you tell me all the time. Because he's smart, he's intelligent, he is analytical, but he brings a fire every single time. So I'm going to ask him just to speak on what I just had in my little run out here for a second ago. Is that I don't know what the average is for night games for a team, but 6 night games for the Dallas Cowboys out of a 17 game season, is that a lot, or am I just
Yeah, that is a lot because you
uh
usually get like, if you're lucky, you get one Monday night game, right? And then, well, okay. So there is a little bit of a caveat because like nobody likes playing on Thursdays. So like, how many of those are Thursday night games?
uh
Because
I
that,
would have to go back and look. Give me a second, but I would say probably two. I think. Let's see if I can get back to the schedule real quick. I was on my.
I may be able
Oh,
to.
yeah, I kind of flipped off my.
I should be able to
Just
pull it
look
up
up the
here.
schedules. Yeah, I know there was a Thursday game,
Okay, so
a
there's
Sunday
a
night.
Thursday at MetLife, and then the following Sunday. So they got a
Okay.
Sunday night game, and then
Yes.
2 Sundays from that they got another
Right.
Sunday night game, and then it's a Monday night game, and then another Monday night game, and then another Sunday night game. So yeah, no, that's
So 3 Sundays, 2 Mondays, and 1 Thursday.
that's that's a that's a little ridiculous. Um,
It's prime time, dog.
but I'll go ahead and tell you right now, there's a one game that I'm not going to be watching, um, which is Thursday, September 26th, because it's only on Prime Video, and I'm not doing that. I'm not paying for another service to watch the Cowboys game. That's not happening. So I'll just
Yeah,
miss that one.
I'm gonna guess that your mom probably has Prime Video, and you probably got to log in
Yeah,
for
she
that.
probably does, but I don't want to set this precedent that allows the NFL to just take all their games and then put them behind streaming services. This is
Well, okay,
this
I'm
is not
interjecting.
okay.
Did you hear what they're going to be doing? What station, or it's not even a station, what platform they're going to have games on in 2025, December, Christmas Day, and 2026? Apparently, you hadn't got your alert on that
No,
yet.
I haven't.
There are going to be live football games on Netflix. Yes, sir.
Do I have a blue button on here? This is
Yeah, I'll sit here wondering, but they want to get in the sphere, and they're paying up, and they said they did a trial run, I guess, with some boxing or something else, and
I
they
just
want a
want to
part of this
say I
NFL
hate
stuff.
it.
Well, I am I don't like it either. I mean, it's just you got to have like every station to watch all the
This is what I'm saying. Like it
stuff.
at first, before it's like you got to have cable. And then right, and then you can't have cable cuz it's too expensive. So you get all these streaming services that you got to piece together all the different channels, right? So that you can get your live games. And then they're like, well, not enough to have ESPN and Fox and NBC and ABC and CBS anymore. You're going to have Prime Video and apparently Netflix. Oh, and also potentially in the playoffs, Peacock, just in
That's right.
case you want to watch all those games. Or you can pay $450 a year and watch all the things you want to on top of your current cable package. Like
Like
it's
yeah,
bro,
it's
I'm not interested like that. I'm really not.
salaries are getting higher. They got to pay these guys some kind of way. Um, for those that don't have a $9 billion team like Jerry Jones. All right. Well, that was my run out. We won't hit on that too much because JT, I don't. We have not discussed what I want to talk about with this, and so this is going to be a live, just kind of like coaching session. When we talk about DaShawn Jones coming over, one of the things that we have talked about on the show prior to this, JT, was the need for defensive backs. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and it seems like we're making a strong push at that in the Porter and also just recruiting wise, seeing a lot of names. So this one was kind of forwarded to me, and I wanted to kind of get your thoughts when we're going through this on this gentleman. So he comes from Wake Forest. Played, I think he was listed as a corner. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but when you watch this film, it looks like he can play some safety. So I kind of want to look at these few clips. Roll Tide, everybody. Thank you guys for being in and doing this. So this
Well,
first
we're gonna
clip,
have to do some on air editing real quick because uh,
yeah, my cutting and splicing, whatever.
well,
That's
and I
JT.
got the film in here at like 8:10.
Yeah, so while we're doing this, thank you for those of you who are watching the live show. We do appreciate that because you get to see things like this. And this is when I say he gets to be the mastermind of this kind of stuff. But I also want you to know that it is my responsibility. So I think someone asked us this on me actually pulling up the film, and then I get it to JT. And I was a little bit late um, today, so he had to or we'll be doing some extra work on the fly. So hopefully you guys don't mind that. You just get to watch us at work, right? All right. So in this particular clip, he is at left corner. I have to say that because he does move around quite a bit. First of all, do you feel there's any positives with being able to flip from side to side, slot, left, corner? You
Yes,
played it.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Because if you're good, um, and I use that term a little loosely. I mean, if you're a guy that they don't want to throw at, I'll use Richard Sherman as an example. Richard Sherman only played on one side of the field, so it's very easy to take Richard Sherman out of the game. You take your best receiver and you put him on the other side of the field,
So,
and that solves that problem. So if you got a guy that can move around, I mean, we even always talk about you hear talk about guys being able to play in the slot versus outside. Um,
yeah.
being able to do that, go inside is one major feat, but a lesser feat that is still, I think, important is being able to feel comfortable on both sides of the field. Now, I've never really understood it personally, not being able to play
Both
on both
sides.
sides. That doesn't make sense to me at all. Like, how could you not? I just don't understand.
Not from a defensive backside, because you know,
Well, because I'm
I,
like, look, if you're playing man, like he can go any direction anyway. So like, what's the difference? Why is being on one side different than the other side? And
no, I,
if you're playing zone, like I don't understand like why that's a thing.
I agree with you on that, in particular for ours. But you hear it seem like from every position. Maybe not wide receiver, but line. They seem like they have to do something different when they have their right hand down versus their left hand down, and it's tricky with their
Yeah.
feet.
I mean, I get that though. Like you're an
Uh,
offensive lineman and you're always used to, let's say you're a right tackle. It's like you always have, well, I shouldn't say always, but most of the time, like there's always somebody to your left. So if you're, for whatever reason, you're just not adept with like hand placement on your left side, you have help. And if you just all of a sudden got moved to the other side of the line and you suck on your left hand, you don't have help anymore.
right.
So, to me, that's fundamentally different than these
A
corners.
defensive back, yeah. No, I agree. All right. So this first clip here, and a lot of the stuff that I saw with him that has been he has played on and off. a lot of this highlight reel, where some of the stuff came from, was him playing off, but he does play press um, as well. I think he's better off now. So I just want to talk about a little bit of that his original turn there, JT. So um, remember when we were talking about how early do you turn
Mm-hmm.
and things of that nature. Now this is uh, some type of zone.
5, 6 yards.
It is off. But he tend to show a lot of speed in a lot of his film and being able to stay on top. And he's always been, every clip I've seen, he plays the ball extremely well, and catches the ball when it gets there. you know, um, now my main thing was just really talking about how he turned, right? So we could get super technical on, do we like the way he opened up and all that. I can't say that I necessarily do. Um,
Yeah, I
Again,
think it's
not knowing all the
early. I
coverages.
mean, just out of context, I think it's super early because like there's so many other routes that can be run right here that he's just not in position for. Um, but I did hear the commentator on this clip, and apparently this dude from Georgia Tech apparently is a speedster, and they like to run him deep all the time, and like that's just kind of like what they do. So
Yes,
maybe that was part of the plan this week of you got to stay on top of that dude. He's not running a deep out. He's running deep overs, and they're going to try to hit you over the top with him. So maybe that's scouting on this part.
that's right. What's up, Joan Hart? Good to see you. Hey, yeah. So I'm with you on that. I was impressed with him being able to take the right angle and find a way to cut him off. Yeah, okay, maybe he got a little handsy at the end, but it's his ball too now because you can tell he's playing the ball. Did he push off? Whatever, maybe, but um, got the ball, get up the field. It's another angle. You can tell he's playing the ball. Uh, Pretty good catch, right? So I think that this shows just his ball skills and his ability to not get beat um, deep. Okay. Anything else you need to point out about this one? It's kind of simple. It's just a post route,
Yeah.
nothing
No,
too hard.
nothing on that one.
Okay. So this one I'll probably be a little bit more critical on. If you look,
So
so
where's
we
he
can.
at? He's up
He's
here.
at the top. Yep, he's a top corner. So now we just talked about him being, fluid enough to go on the other side of the field on the outside. Um, his initial steps were good. I think once he started to turn, this is probably where I would be critical when he starts to break back downhill. I think it can be better, right? So it might be back on his heels just a tad bit here. If I was coaching, I'd say, all right, you're kind of rocking and not pedaling, right? If I'm being a defensive back coach. Uh, this is man this time, so he does take a man turn. Again, he opens it.
Yeah, I don't know.
And
It kind of that now I'm like, is he afraid of getting run past all the time?
all right. So when we're talking about this, we were literally talking about this in the car just a little bit ago. How do you teach a defensive back when you actually open to get running? And this just seems early because now the space is too. That's too far,
Mm-hmm.
right? Coming out of the break. We did talk about what does it mean when how the quarterback goes, and it's hard to read quarterbacks out of shotgun, and is he really trying to get rid of the ball fast or not? But to me, right there, I would prefer to see him stay in the pedal a little bit longer. You
Yeah. I
on that?
mean, I don't know what the down and distance here is. It's at least it's obviously not first
Something
down.
in nine, something in nine. That's the yellow lines
Mm-hmm.
right there.
So I don't know
Right?
if it's second or third
Eight.
down.
Yeah,
Um, Either way, you kind of got to know where the first down marker is, right? And he's running this. He's running this out or come back at the sticks. So I mean, if this is a third down play, you're probably not getting. You're probably not getting vertical here. You're probably getting something at the sticks, and just at alignment, like you're you're 10 yards off already. You're already at safety depth. You don't, unless that
Lord, no.
dude is Xavier Worthy, he's probably not running by you in the first
Yeah.
12 yards, right? So he backpedals
That
5
dude's not a
yards and he's
that dude's not
already,
a blazer. You can look at the film and tell that guy's not a blazer. That's a big old brother up there. That's
yeah, because I mean, even at this point,
yeah.
he's still 6 yards. They're still 6 yards apart, and he's already getting ready to bail to turn and run. He does
Yeah.
put his foot in the ground, and he can close speed or he can close space a little bit. But he's making this play much more difficult than he needs to. And
Yes,
it
because
is
he
third down. So there you go. You saw the box there.
yeah. So he closed ground, and I think that he's even going to get better in here. I think there's an extra hitch in his turn. He put his right foot down in the ground, which he's supposed to at the top, but there was, I'm going to say, 2 extra steps in there. But he's young, still, and he's going to get some really really good coaching there. You see it? Did you see the little
Yeah.
hop?
Yeah.
I don't know if the viewers know what I'm talking about. When he
Yeah. So I
opens,
can, let's see.
that's good right there. The right
Right. So
foot's down.
if he's coming, if his break ends up coming straight back, we're good. But what ends up happening is he's going kind of like this, and this part right here is all wasted. That's wasted time. So he ends up
Yes.
kind of rounding the break out a little bit, but
Yes, you can see it really good right there. Good example. But when he gets there, he is definitely a physical football player and loves to hit. And that's what I said. I'm not really sure if this guy. This is one where you're talking about sticking and going. I mean, he read this and just, oh, good grief. Now he's back on the left side. Um, it's form tackle, man. That's how you. That's how you do it, man. I mean, it's safe when we're talking about tackling. It was no hesitation, and he went for it. So that shows his physical ability and willingness to come. That's why I'm really kind of curious on how they're going to use him. You know, how much corner versus maybe something else. I don't know, because I feel like, especially when you see another clip, 2 clips down the film, um, his physical ability. All right, so this one he's on the slot at the top. So the number 2 guy, if you need, he's coming across in motion. So right now he would be yes, him. So he came over in motion. Just good reaction, just trying to get through, not avoiding all traffic. Seems like he understands route combinations. Sure tackler, get there. These are hard to do on wide receivers, but he wraps up, runs his feet, keeps the guy from getting the first down. That's you know, um, you can tell it was third down again because he holds up the fourth down thing. So just good quicks and understanding. Seems like a smart football player as well. All right, JT. So this is one we probably need to talk about here. So you got to run it back so I can let you know where he came from because you can't see where he came from
okay.
on this. So he is the guy going in motion, telling the free safety to push over. So he actually ends up as a free safety.
So he's standing over here.
No.
Here?
Yes. That is him for now. The other guy's going to roll down. He's going to roll back. You can see him telling the guy, well, you see him? He just went to the middle of the field. But he's the one who actually comes up, bang, there, out of the middle of the field. That, ladies and gentlemen, is pretty damn good. Because you see the other guy that rolled down was getting blocked. Kind of, sort of. That's
Yeah, that's
Uh,
at least in my experience, that's one of the more difficult things that to get guys to do. Oh, let's see if I can. Maybe we have little more real estate to find.
yeah. You don't get confused on the guys because if you're trying to track them, you can see number 45. You can just look at their wristbands and, well, one of them's white, one of them black too. So the guy that was originally back there in the middle was the
Mm-hmm.
white guy, and now he's down. So, but again, just look at the tackle. I mean, his body, his head's across. Whether or not you say across or backside, doesn't matter. He doesn't hit with his head. Um, so great form tackle, no wasted yards. I mean, he hits the guy and he goes down. That's why I'm wondering how is that a good thing for your corner to have, or is it
Well,
something that you
both. I
want
mean, you
to
want
have?
anybody who's going to be on the defense side of the ball, um, willing to get a little physical, and it's a bonus, I think, when you can get your corners to play that way.
Yeah, I just don't know if they're going to try to move him into one of those. What are the two positions? The husky and the what do they call the other side? The other
Wolf.
safety, the wolf. Because what I didn't show on here is that he did quite a bit of blitzing from
Mm-hmm.
the corner spot or safety spot as well. So he was in the backfield um, quite a bit, making tackles for losses. So I think he's a well-rounded dude that they can kind of pick and choose where they need him um, to be. So it's going to be fun to watch and see what happens there. I think it's going to be fun to watch just what happens with the secondary in general because they do have to show up some spots there or we're going to run into trouble. We didn't look good in the spring. I didn't think so in the secondary as a whole. Um, and we got to have the depth. If anybody gets hurt, um, I think this is a good pickup uh, for us in the secondary, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, no matter what spot he plays, whether it's going to be corner or safety, or even if they're just going to cross train him, um, him being not a one and done guy, I think he's got at least 2 seasons eligibility, right?
Yes.
So, um, yeah, he may be a role player now, but maybe not so next season.
I agree. I agree. Okay. Well, I just wanted to be able to talk about him a little bit. We know there's some other guys that we're going to have to talk about secondary wise or some other transfers, but we at least wanted to get to him because for some reason I like defensive backs. I don't know why I like defensive backs, JT. They're just, you know,
Imagine that.
they're all right people. They're all right people. Okay. So, you know what else is all right though, man? Trying to get to some water. How did we go to Alabama this past week and not try to find a beach?
It's because we didn't actually make it that far into Alabama. We there were a whole lot more cows than people.
Yeah. So do you think an animal would be interested? Okay. How many people with pools actually have cows in their backyard? What do you think? If you're in the South or something.
The number has got to be close to zero.
You think so? You think of the people out in the country that got their pools don't have like horses and stuff walking around? Think about if you got the loot and the money and you're trying to get some tax break because you got some stuff on your land. You don't
This
have a
is dangerous because
pool in your
I
back
mean,
house.
you gotta. They can't drink the water. You gotta
Yeah,
keep them
but
out.
can there be a way to fence it or something?
Yeah, I mean, you could.
Or maybe they're just out on the back 5 acres. You got your first 5 acres and you don't have the other one there. I don't know. I know it was nice to be in Alabama and see a lot of land out there. I know you can see it in a lot of places. But what I think that you really need to know about is, man, you really got to check out these beaches that you can have at your home, right? This is something. that it's unique. If you want to be a little bit flashy and different, you can be. I remember when we built our pool in South Lake, JT, and we put the bar in it and all that kind of stuff, and it's really cool. It's just a nice place for you to bring friends. But what if I told you were just sitting around in your house and someone was talking about being at the beach in South Carolina or Mobile or wherever it is you like to go? I promise you, what I can show you right now is a whole lot better than the beach in Galveston. Just did you hear the comments from us?
Galveston has been taking so many strays. It's
So
deserved though.
that's
Galveston's
right.
beach sucks.
That's right. So don't go to Galveston. Get your own. Listen to this 1 minute talk about Beaches LLC. Let me tell you about Beaches LLC. Yes, Beaches LLC is your source in the state of Alabama and the Florida Panhandle for exquisite quartz sand beach pools by Biodesign USA. A Biodesign beach sculpted pool is crafted with beach entries, customized seating areas, and swimming zones, and they all can be personalized to your swimming needs. The Biodesign swimming pool is meant to immerse you in your surrounding environment. The illusion of a truly beautiful beach can be created and extended onto the patio area, creating one seamless shore environment. Let them help you turn your dream backyard escape into reality with an eco-friendly, more durable, less time, and less expensive to maintain, totally customizable pool. To learn more about turning your dream into a reality, please visit their website at www.yourbackyardbeach.com. Yes, sir. I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys for being in the tattoo. James Knox, you need to go onto their website and and check it out. I like what Joan Harder said. She says Texas do for sure defense pools because she lives out there with a lot of land, a lot of property, and she might not have cows, but I know she used to have some chickens and
Yeah,
now
well,
some
see, if she
bees
doesn't
and
have
all
cows
this
or
kind of stuff.
horses, then she doesn't count towards the demographic.
Well, what about chickens and all these other things, llamas? They got all kind of weird stuff out here in Texas where people got stuff in their yard. Um, anyhow, all right. So, what do you want to talk about now, JT? We're gonna hit this NIL deals, and we got two different ways that we can go. We probably should hit them both, right? The the basketball tournament is going to be coming into play in another, I don't know, year or two, perhaps. It's going to be specifically to raise money for the NIL
Mm-hmm.
or collectives for basketball, or just people's comments about the portal and the NIL in general and give our takes. Which way you want to go right now?
We can do the basketball, and I'll try not to get off topic because it should be a short topic. But I just had a couple of thoughts on like I think it's not related to NIL, so maybe we should just get into what that's about.
Okay, so maybe let's just tell if people haven't really heard about this, right? So the uh, is it only SEC?
No,
No.
no, I'll
So
find the teams that are.
so
Um,
the I guess it's not even being done by the NCAA. Is that right?
yeah, well, because nothing ever is.
So there is going to be a basketball tournament in college for NCAA teams where there's going to be a purse money for teams who participate in this tournament. It is currently an invite only kind of tournament, and the payment is actually will be used for uh, to help schools raise money for their NIL pools or pot of money, right? Right now, they're saying it's going to be $1 million per school that attends. Um, so it's pretty interesting to see. I don't know if I like this or not, or if it's good. It seems like it could lead to some things because you can't do a tournament for everybody to do, right? So
Why
right
not?
now, I think they have 8 schools
Why can't you do a tournament for everybody to do?
to give them to give them a $1 million. And who has a tournament with 64 teams in it other than the championship tournament?
I mean, they don't have to be the same tournament because like they already do this with like Battle for Atlantis and the Maui Invitational and that other thing that they just play up in Washington.
Okay, so when they just said to is that they are gonna start to they're gonna rotate this around through those
Yeah,
tournaments that you just said, right? But it's gonna be the same schools essentially. Sounds like I don't know. I don't know how much you read into that, but they're
sounds
just gonna keep it.
sounds like bowl games to me.
Well, what do you mean?
I mean, this is exactly the tangent that I said I wasn't going to get on. But like basketball does their bowl games correctly to me. Like they have these in-season tournaments that are somewhat prestigious, I guess, because like the Battle for Atlantis and the Maui Invitational are like things the teams want to participate in and win, but they're actually just regular season games. And it's like if you don't win it, like who cares? But those games mean something towards your season and like seeding and whether you're going to make the dance or not. It gives you the opportunity to play teams outside of your area that are good in BPI and all those other metrics that they use. Um, and everybody tries to get in them for these reasons. And there's, money and marketing and all that kind of stuff in it that they just do in season that football does at the end of the season
Postseason.
after it's all over with that nobody cares about. Um, so the other thing of that was you were saying like, well, how come they can't have a tournament for everybody to get in? And I'm like, well, they got bowl games for everybody to get in. So I don't understand why you can't just have like
Well, it would have to
40,
be
18 tournaments.
it'd have to be post again then, right? Because how long would that actually take for you to get through?
Well, if you had 40,
You know?
18 tournaments, and I'm just making up a number, that's what's 40 times 8? That's 320 teams, which is damn near everybody. And you
Yeah.
just play them all at the same time at the beginning. And you just say, hey, we're going to just divvy up the whole country in 8 pods and y'all go play your own tournaments. We'll slap a name on it and give you some money. And
But this is driven by investors.
mm-hmm.
So I don't know that they want to give school whatever.
Well, I mean, like, I'm sure Gasparilla lawnmowers can
Uh,
pay 8 schools to play basketball for a couple days. And so can Pop Tarts and Duke's Mayo. And
yeah, but the investors are, and I don't have it. I remember one of them was a red investments, but it was pretty big investment firm. I know they've done some stuff with football and stuff, I believe. But the other one was the uh, company from overseas, the Arab. I want to say it's probably been the same people that did the.
oh yeah, the UAE. So it says
Yeah,
Redbird IMI is an investment
there you go.
consortium majorly funded by the United Arab Emirates. So I mean, they got
Yeah,
plenty of money. They could literally give $1 million to every basketball team in America.
they're trying to make some money though, man. This is
They
not that people aren't going to come watch them people play, and they're already cutting TV deals for these top schools. So why we at talking to you about this, people, is really because Alabama is one of the schools that has agreed to play in this tournament. That is really the gist of this. I probably should have started with that and why this came out because it sounded like it didn't take Nate Oates but one phone call and them to say,
Mhm.
well, yeah, I can go play a little bit of basketball and make a cool million specifically for basketball in my NILs. So JT and I did kind of briefly talk about it, saying that will this create um, haves and have nots, though? You got a small group that said they might expand to 16 within a year or so.
They will. Not that they might. I think they've already planned on 16. for 2025, adding Duke, Gonzaga, Kansas, Michigan, Syracuse, and Virginia.
I mean, those are already pretty good schools, basketball wise. You know, you saying adding, maybe you need to name the other eight.
Yes. So the original eight are Alabama, Houston, Notre Dame, Oregon, Rutgers, San Diego State, Texas A&M, and Creighton. Creighton apparently was previously scheduled to play in Battle for Atlantis in 2024, um, but they are not going to do that anymore, and they have to pay a buyout to get out of the Battle for Atlantis.
I don't know about this whole paying to get out, but whatever.
And Battle for Atlantis is played in the Bahamas, so that's why people are always trying to get in there because they want to take their kids to the Bahamas. But Creighton apparently feels that this is a better deal for them than to go do that. And according to this article from CBS, it sent shockwaves across college hoops when Creighton decided not to play for in the Battle for Atlantis. So
It's money. I'm just wondering if those other tournaments are going to start getting mad, like the PGA did or something. Because if that pool starts to grow, they're talking about giving players ownership or whatever stock.
They are allowed to have NIL for work associated with that tournament. So marketing or sponsorship ads or whatever regarding those games or any companies that are sponsoring those games, those players will be eligible for deals.
I mean, it's a great concept, I think, but I think the only problem I have, and maybe we can segue this into our next topic, is of everybody's getting their hand in this NIL stuff. Businesses, agents, parents. There's probably some coaches in it for all we know, cutting some deals or something and trying to work out stuff. I don't know. So we were looking at an article with some anonymous people through the Athletic. I think it was a great read, right? And just talking about the chaos that's going on with this. And so, I don't, JT, how far is this getting out of hand with the NIL and the portal? And can we ever reel it back, or is it just kind of is what?
Oh no, you can't put the genie back in the bottle. There were things in that article that surprised me, and there were things that didn't surprise me. I think that, at least based on what I read from that article, it's kind of changed my mind a little bit on what the actual problem with NIL is, and when we say getting out of hand, like what exactly is getting out of hand? Because at first we thought maybe it's the amount of money that's being handed out and things like that that's getting out of hand, and a lot of the coaches, the anonymous coaches, and general managers and other people that are responsible for making these deals and giving money out, for the most part, it doesn't seem like they're actually trying to give out that much money. Because there were a lot of people that were like, yeah, these guys come in here asking for, one source said some kid asked for $800,000, and he said, I thought the guy was messing with us, but he was serious, and we're not doing that. He's basically saying, I don't care how good he is, we're not paying that amount of money for anybody. And then he said, then he came down to half, to $400,000, and he was like, yeah, but that's still entirely too much for what position. They didn't say who the kid was or anything like that, but he was like, the position that he's trying to play and his market value didn't warrant $400,000. So he was like, yeah, maybe somebody give it to him, but he ain't gonna play here. So I thought that was kind of interesting, that the coaches and collectives and all that kind of stuff still do have a there is a sense of a market value.
But how are you going to work that out now? I mean, it's not like, or maybe it is like being drafted. You kind of know where your money's going to fall, and then eventually, when you become a free agent, you're waiting for someone. Or so are you comparing yourself to
Yeah,
said transfer, and I got as
that's
many
exactly what's
tackles, and I
happening,
played.
right? You got these guys asking their buddies how much they got and were offered and whatnot, and then they try to go from there and try to derive what they think they can ask for. So I think where it kind of starts to get out of hand, and this is the one problem that I'm not sure how you actually solve, and that's the air quotes for those listening, the tampering part of it, because I was also kind of confused on like how these how some of the kids get into the portal with the do not contact tag and they already know where they're going, and then tampering doesn't happen. And then I realized after reading the article that yes, by the definition of what the NCAA calls tampering, it's not
Kidnapping.
what he said. What they're doing is they're calling a high school coach and saying, "Hey, if your guy ever jumps into the portal, we'd be interested in." And then the high school coach and goes and talks to the family member, and the family member tells the kid, or they call a former teammate or whatever. So that the school never actually talks to the player. They talk to people who know the player, and information gets trickled down that way. And I don't know what rules you put in to prevent that.
You really can't. It goes back to, I don't know. It's just another way to cheat, to try to get someone there. And that was really interesting to me too, because it still makes me think of the, lack of better words, the handlers. Those
Mm-hmm.
people that were getting people on 7-on-7 teams, and they're not going to the recruiting visits with their coach or something. They got this other person who's an agent, but not really an agent. They're just kind of these people that they all know, that the coaches know, and so they're just going to call them and say, "Hey, let me know if this guy's thinking about moving." I mean, I think it's common in high school football, with transfers, kind of similarly. They're not getting paid, but I would imagine that they're probably getting some kickbacks to some of these handlers, people, or something,
Well, I mean, they
right?
do have like some
Agents
legitimate,
now.
yeah, NIL agents. Um, and that was also a kind of a eye opener too of like they're saying that one of the guys said, you're dealing with like a high profile, a good player is going to have an agent, and a not so good player is going to have a parent. Basically, is what he was saying. So I think that's where the exploitation probably could come in, because you've got three levels, right? Or I guess four options. You have a real agent who knows what he's doing. You've got the parent who doesn't know what they're doing, probably.
Remember that thought though. Don't forget to ask me about the parent, because I don't want to cut off your other two. It will just make sure you remind me of that parent and how
Yeah.
they make money.
The
Okay.
parent, who may or may not actually have the child's best interest at heart. They could just be looking for their own payday, because that happens apparently quite often. And then you have the player who might just be representing himself, who don't know nothing about nothing. And then you have these fake agents that are like their roommate, that are just making up numbers as they go, and not being able to do that at all. So you you can see how people can start being taken advantage of, um, when you're not really dealing with a professional. And you can also see from the other side how if you have somebody who's inexperienced and doesn't know what they're doing, um, such as this unnamed general manager said, they host the kid. They said they don't like to talk money up front. because they don't want the kid on the visit just because of how much money they said they're going to offer him. So they bring him in, they show him all the stuff, and they wait a little bit. Then they come back with saying, hey, this is how much we can get you in the NIL money. And then the kid responds, don't worry about it. Talk to my agent instead. He'll handle all of it. The agent is some other college kid, and he says, yeah, we can get it done for $802,000. And the coach is like, you know what? Never mind.
Never mind. Right. Yeah. That's true. It's so much into that I don't even know how the kids navigate around this. What's up, coach? So I think what I wanted to say was a part before I forget, was about the parent. So I learned something in the article too, JT, that apparently collectives, the collectives part now are kind of negotiating money for the parents so that they can pay for their trips to the games if they can't afford
Mm-hmm.
the thing. I thought that was super interesting. You know, it's kind of what you're talking about on who's other parents trying to take advantage of their kids. You know, um, so is this going to turn into like a what's the name of the little kid star that was trying to get out from under the I don't even know the real term of it. You know, where they had the rights to their money. I want to say it was Hannah
Conservatorship?
Mon. Yeah.
It was
So are you
Britney
gonna have?
Spears.
Yeah. So what? uh, Are we going to be having things like this, or you can't do it when you turn 18?
Well, if you get it done before they turn 18, then I guess you got a little bit of leeway there. Um, but yeah, after they turn 18, it's much harder, I think. But it doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like it's out of the realm of possibility that a parent could influence their child to sign that kind of
Sign
paperwork.
this piece of paper. Well, because it's going to be a problem once it goes down into high school.
Well, yeah, I mean, it happened to Michael Orr too, right? Well, allegedly, it happened to Michael Orr with his movie deal and him not getting paid for the movie about him and
That's right.
all that kind of stuff.
I don't know, man. It just I'm just so taken aback on how much money is actually in this. And really, is it sustainable from the donor base? Is it really going to come to events like what they're trying to do in basketball? You know that
Yeah.
they're going to have to raise money off of
Well,
the
we had
seven
already
on
kind of
seven
talked about
tournaments you
this,
go
right?
to.
With Caden Proctor and getting. I don't think. I don't think collectives are going to be around um, in this capacity as long as we might think. And I'd be interested to see kind of where Aaron Suttle's head might be with that, because even that article mentioned it, and I thought it was a great term of donor fatigue. And I didn't have that word in my arsenal before, but we talked about it when Caden Proctor transferred back from Iowa, and their collective had raised $100,000 for him to go there, and he goes there, he collects his paycheck, doesn't even show up to
Yeah,
practice, and transfers back. And I'm like, yeah. So now, how if you're Iowa and you're the collective, how do you then ask your donors to do something similar again? Because they're like, yo, I don't know, I donated $2,000 and guy didn't even
yeah,
show up. So how do you then go back and ask that person to donate again?
yeah. It's too hard. It's too hard. But I will say, and I had a pretty good source tell me this again. I hadn't necessarily heard it. Maybe it's out there somewhere, but it seems like um, that they're moving the NCAA in these collectives or the NILs. I don't think they can do it for the NILs. It has to be the collectives, but they're going to cap it like
Mm.
a cap for schools. Hey, you can't, to try to protect them a little bit, that you got to come in under the cap. So people aren't just
I wonder if it's going to be like uh, the NFL cap, or is it going to be like
Start renegotiating your money. You mean
No.
extending your deals?
Yeah,
To
well,
play
I
for eight
wonder, like,
years?
is it going to be a hard cap like the NFL, or is it going to be one of those soft caps like the NBA, or is it going to be like that financial fair play thing that they have in soccer? Because the NFL is like you cannot go over the cap and you have to renegotiate and do restructure and move money around, do all that kind of stuff. The NBA is just, hey, we have a cap, and if you go over it, you got to pay this luxury tax for paying more. And then the financial fair play thing for all the soccer fans out there is like it's like a rolling budget. You can't be in a deficit of X amount of dollars over a 3-year period. So what teams do is they try to bring in more ad revenue and jersey sales and whatnot. Because let's say it's just to make numbers easy, you can't spend more than $100 million over a 3-year period. And they say, okay, well, if we make a profit of $200 million this year, we actually have a $300 million budget. But then if we bring in another $700 million and we've made $1 billion over 2 years, we can spend over $1 billion now.
Yeah, that's crazy though.
Yeah, and then there's all kinds of ways people skirt the rules. They inflate their TV revenue contracts, and they say, hey, it's not actually worth. We signed for $700 million, but it's actually worth $800 million. And then you got the jersey sales and this and that, and they try to lump all that together to say, this is how much we actually made.
NCAA can't handle that part. That would be too much, and you'd have to have a whole lot of investigation. So I don't see that. I would hope if I was voting, I would say make it a hard something. This is what you get. That's just it, and maybe it's different by conference, or something.
People be. I mean that makes sense, but I think you would be driving the Big Ten and SEC to be like, yeah, we're just not participating in this NCAA thing anymore. That's not a thing we do.
They're almost there.
I know. That's what I'm saying. To me, that's what I'm saying. The NCAA probably should just hang it up and be like, look, get out. Y'all just go do something else. We're gonna worry about these. The new D1 is just gonna be FCS. And we're gonna keep our playoff that we've been doing, and we'll have D2 and D3. All of you FBS schools, go do something else. Just get out.
I mean, it's gonna come to that, man. These conferences go. ACC about to be go soon. There's gonna be 3 major conferences, and then I don't know what's gonna happen from there.
Well, it might just be 2, because if what I don't know if it's credible or not, and so I won't put his name out there who said it, but he said that he was hearing rumors that Kansas is looking. He's been hearing rumors that Kansas is looking to get into the SEC within the next 2 to 3 years. They're trying to get their basketball team out of the Big 12.
Yeah, I could see that. But I don't know, man. But either way, it's all good. I just hopefully somebody will try to figure out a way, whether it's the government, someone the NCAA, coaches union. I don't know what they got to do. They got to do something to get this stuff in order, because
I don't think the government should save the NCAA.
they've already gone to Capitol Hill or whatever and asking for help, because can you imagine what this is going to look like in 2 years? I mean,
yeah, but I mean, this is they did it to themselves. They had many a years to, ever since Ed O'Bannon had that lawsuit, that should have been like, okay, let's go ahead and start trying to figure out how we're going to do this. Because you didn't even have to get to this solution. I think if they would have allowed, like, giving you that half step to make it look like that you compromised and like allowed the NIL thing with some rules around it, it probably would have stopped there, at least for a while. Maybe eventually it would have gotten here, but it wouldn't have gotten here like overnight. I think they could have staved it off for another 10 years. Say, okay, hey, you can get your NIL money, and here's some rules around it. Go ahead and investigate that kind of stuff. And in 2025, there might be some conversations of how it's not enough, but
They should have just given a profit sharing off the damn thing. They should have did three things. If we sell some of your jerseys, you get X%.
yeah, I don't
Or
even know how that. I
anything.
don't even know how that wasn't a thing like to begin with. Like, how I don't even know. I
Yeah,
don't even know how that's legal to not do. Like,
yeah. You got your name on it, you get something. Regardless of if you're in the video, you're in the
yeah, you're in the March Madness
gas.
commercial with your name on the
Yes,
back, and somehow you can't. Whatever.
dude, you get a piece, right? And then if you I've said it, and I don't know why it wouldn't work, but you got your lack of what better words, profit sharing.
Mm-hmm.
You got some percentage of, hey, we make X amount of money, whatever it is. Small pool goes over and divided up amongst the players, and maybe it's tiered some kind of way based upon playing time, or I don't know. And just done that would have. I think it would have been okay, like you said, for a little while. Then maybe you negotiate a little bit. Well, I want to make money for this. I need to work. I got my air quotes now. Whatever. I'm an influencer. I'm a something. I need to be able to make money. Okay, fine. If you got a million followers, it should be all your money.
Yeah,
But
and I think that was like one of the true, real missteps by the NCAA. And I'm thinking about that UCF kicker that had a YouTube channel, and the NCAA said, "Shut down your YouTube channel or stop playing football," which is
yeah,
just bonkers to me.
yeah, that's not kosher. But that's what the rules have been. We couldn't work, back in the day, right? We couldn't work except during the summer. That was the only time we could really have a job where you could make money. I guess they just assumed. But all it did, last piece, all it did was created a donor or something else who hired you in the summertime for 2 months, and he just overpaid you. So you didn't make minimum wage. You made $100 an hour or whatever it was, and you didn't even go to work. So whatever. Um, anyhow, man, I think
Well,
it's been good.
I got to send you one other article because they did one about the Alabama Collective and kind of how that works and what they're trying to do there, and some of the concerns that Greg Byrne has, and I guess Aaron Suttles, since he's the head of that collective. Um, and that was interesting because they were talking about Title IX and the revenue sharing part of it, and basically how they were worried that Title IX would force them to divide that revenue sharing like the Title IX rules.
The ladies.
Right. But what I didn't understand until I read the article, so there might be somebody listening that also doesn't really understand how Title IX works. What I understand it to be now is that you have to split that money based on the percentage of participation amongst those sports. And what it sounded like what Greg Byrne and Aaron Suttles was worried about was if you did the revenue sharing and it was subject to Title IX, because of how many women are participating in the athletic department on all the sports, they account for 52% of the athletes, which means they would be entitled to 52% of the revenue. even though, and he was like, the Olympic sports don't make any money and all that kind of stuff. And he said, so the revenue sharing that's all generated by basketball and football, more than half of it actually goes to somebody else, which may be a worse situation because now you're playing football, you get the revenue sharing, but the rowing team
Go to your
sees more
female
money.
rowing team. That won't work. That won't fly.
Right. So
I
that
mean, I see it being a problem, but you just got to figure out a way to be fair and equitable some kind of way. I get it. There- Listen, I'm an athletic director. I have these kind of conversations all the time with revenue versus non-revenue teams. They're all important. None of us never doubt that, but there is $0 that come in from our golf team
mm-hmm.
because everything is away. I got to pay for everything. It's we just don't. And there's plenty of sports like that. But when you think of football, basketball, then you get to volleyball, maybe some soccer. You got baseball. At least you might can get some gate or some concession
Mm-hmm.
or something. But tennis, nah, no, it doesn't. $0. It's all expense. And I think the coach doesn't really understand. Well, our budgets are smaller. Well, yeah, but guess who's carrying you? You know, our football team, and our basketball team, the revenue building sports. So it's complicated. We get it. But, what's not complicated is Teague's Take and our show. We're here on Wednesday nights at 8:15. You do need to hit that subscribe button. Give us a like. Give us a follow. Send some people to our channel, man. We love doing this. We're still going every other week, uh, probably until September, end of July, something of that nature. But we're going to keep bringing you the energy and the fire. We're going to break down some more players in a couple weeks, um, and we'll stay up on the topics, on the hot topics, and see what's really out there. It seems like NIL keeps being at the top. We apologize for talking about it all the time, but that's kind of what it is. Transfer portal slowed down. So give me a follow at Teague Football on X and Instagram, George Teague on Facebook. Uh, I guess you can hit JT up on Reddit or something.
And
I don't know. You done got rid of Reddit too?
yeah. Well, look, nobody wants to hear me rant about.
Well, you got an anonymous name. He don't want you to know. I heard Reddit you're supposed to be anonymous or whatever. So
Yeah,
let's
but
find a
but
little
it's
bot.
I don't even have the Reddit app on my phone anymore because the actual the official Reddit app is trash. It's not a good app, and then they shut down all the other apps. So
Says the computer programmer who designs his own apps
well,
and
it just doesn't work. It does. The app doesn't work. There were so many other apps that were good, and you could just use it. And then they did what Twitter did before Twitter did it, like where they had all these other apps that you could use, and they were shut it all down. And at least the Twitter app is usable. Anyway,
yeah. Okay, well then you can't find him there. Where you find JT at?
you find
Right
me
here
right
on
here
Teague's
on
Take.
Teague's
Find
Take.
him right here on Teague's Take. If you want to get him a message or something, do what you normally do. Email me. You can find me at George. You go to our georgeteague.com, you know, hit up teaguestake.com. You can get to us that way, or you can find me on social media and then just, you know, tell me what you want me to tell JT. I'm good with that too. He's getting a lot better. He's starting to answer my texts now. Yeah, he said after I stopped paying his phone bill, he wasn't answering any more texts. So anyway, my daughter still
Yeah,
answers my
how is this
texts.
allowed? She's 24.
Uh,
She has a job.
I think you would have been okay. It's just you got married before 26.
She's basically in a civil partnership now. They've been living together.
I 100% agree. I'll let you talk to Consuela about that when I get ready to shut off the phone and not pay the car note. All
Well,
right, you got that for me?
yeah, because then my argument should be that I need my card note and phone bill paid for, because I got
Hello?
Hello? Extra
Hello?
money going out. Her grandkids
Man,
need.
turn on the music. Turn on the music. Because you talk crazy now.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
I don't even know what my music button is. Here it is.
Yeah, that's right, man. Well, appreciate you guys very much. It's always fun. We love you guys. We look forward to seeing you guys in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Come back to Teague's Take. Have a great night. Deuces.